In a couple of examples, in Exodus chapter 24, it tells us that Moses and Aaron, Abihu and Nadab, the priests, and 70 of the elders went up on the mountain. God had them up for dinner. You ever read that story? Exodus 24, after they had cut covenant. See, the whole thing about cutting covenant was there's an agreement. Men, when they cut covenant, would cut an animal in half. They put the two animals on the side. They would walk between the animals. First, they'd make commitments and promises to each other. They'd walk between the animals. And what they were saying was, if I break this agreement, may I become like this animal, be cut in half. So it was called cutting covenant. We don't see the people of God going between the animals, but the animals were killed. Blood was put on the altar. Blood was sprinkled on the people. And they made covenant with God. And usually after the cutting of covenant, there was a meal. You enjoyed a meal together. You fellowshiped together. You made commitments. You said, okay, if I break this covenant, may I become like that animal? And this is an enduring covenant. A lot of times they put salt on the sacrifice as preservation, meaning it would be a long covenant. And then they'd have a meal together. Well, they had just made covenant with God. God confirmed covenant with the nation of Israel there in Exodus chapter 24. And he invited them up for dinner. They went up the mountain and said that they saw God. Now, that perplexed me because no man has seen God at any time. If they saw God, it would have melted. It would have been like Indiana Jones and the Raiders of the Lost Ark. Like the Germans all melted. Their eyeballs melted. They all melted. We can't stand in God's presence. That's one thing Steven Spielberg probably got right. That in God's presence, that flesh can't abide in God's presence. And they saw God gave some type of picture of himself. Maybe it was Jesus. I'm not sure. But it said there was a pavement of like sapphire stone, and they ate dinner with God.